All right, so we are recording. Hey, Erin,
Hey,
how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for doing this for us. And
Good.
I just had a lot of people who were at the It Works mini boot camp in Grand Rapids that were
Mhm.
super excited about your what was it? Your table or
The
your
party panel.
yeah, the panel on parties, and the fact that you built your business mainly on events. So I kind of want to just have you start out with your story.
Okay.
Maybe tell a little bit about yourself, your rank, how long you've been in, and that type of thing. And I'm going to mute my side here so you can take over.
Okay. Well, thanks you guys for having me on. It's always exciting to check in with other peeps in the biz. And actually, it's once you guys tell your story enough and talk enough to your team, you'll be like, oh, am I even doing anything that's effective? Like, does anybody even care? So it's nice, so, remember that when you're getting up there, like definitely your story matters, and always have that voice, because you can definitely change people's lives, no matter what. But I'm Erin Mannebeck. I live in Novi, Michigan, so I'm the other side of the state. Um, and I started this business 3.5 years ago. In March, it'll be 4 years ago, 4 years. And it's been incredible. Before this, I was working 4 jobs. I was like the jack of all trades, master of all, of course. And I am a mom. I'm a single mom. And I always like to get kind of like the check marks out of the way, like single mom, check. My enroller is actually no longer in the business, so check, check. You can do this without, an upline and all that stuff. And busy, check, check, check. So, but yeah, I had never heard of It Works before. I had never really heard of network marketing. So I had no idea what this was. And I mean, I just knew that people did stuff like this from home, and I'm cool with that. Like, that's me. So, but I was bartending and waiting tables. I was working in a salon, and I worked at I worked at Big B. So go Big B. Like, if I talk to other people, they're like, what's Big B? And I'm like, it's the Starbucks of Michigan. So, but I was working 6 to 7 days a week. I was growing my own hair and makeup, a bridal business with my business partner. We were doing on location weddings and events. So I literally was working 6 to 7 days a week. And if I ever had days off or moments off, I was doing either kitchen hair or I was watching somebody's kids. So I literally was the definition of busy. And so when this was introduced to me, I had no idea, but I took it on as kind of my fifth job. And the sugarcoat sweet spot of all of this, I promoted to executive in my first month. So in 26 days or whatever, I went from distributor, not trying any of the products, never hearing of this company, being so busy and broke, I didn't know how to breathe. And my first paycheck from It Works was $352. So it doesn't matter which to me, I was like, so when I hear people, they're like, my first paycheck, like my ambassador upline, Genesis Boyd, her first paycheck was $21. And I was like, really? How did you how? Like $350 for me? I was like, well, yeah, dude, of course. I mean, I make money. But I didn't understand what I had. I didn't grasp the concept of all of this, because, I could still work, a weekend behind the bar, and make $350 in a weekend. So for me, a whole month's time, $350, I was like, all right, sweet. That's cool. I'll just, pay a bill or whatever. And, I did the math, and actually in my first month with It Works, I made over $1,000. in between my fast start bonuses, in between my wrap cash and my paycheck, I made over $1,000. So you guys can definitely, if you're reaching out to people who are busy, keep going, give up on them, because I have to tell you, the life that I was living was not ideal at all. They're miserable. So they need this for sure. Within a year, says give it works a year and it'll change your life. Within a year, I went from working, 4 jobs to making 6 figures. And I quit my jobs after 2 months. It was crazy. Like the money just really kept rolling in. And I'm like, and I had an accident at work. Actually, I had a metal pole fall on my foot and I had to take 3 weeks off. And I was freaking out. 3 weeks off and, all these bills and everything. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was actually sitting with my foot propped up and I made a fast start bonus. And I was like, I just made $100 sitting on my butt. Like, I can do this. And awesome. Yeah, I called everybody and I was like, I quit. I called my business partner and I was like, you know what? Brides are terrible and their mothers are even worse. So I don't actually want to do this anymore. And she was like, you're right. They suck. So let's just close up shop. And I'm like, sounds good. And I was, so, because how busy I was, the online parties and events and stuff, that's where, and really where the event thing kind of clicked. I was doing a wedding at this, venue, and there was a swinging singles 40s like event going on in the banquet hall next door. And I was like, dude, I could go ambassador diamond in that room with lip and eye cream. Holy buckets. And that's where it like clicked for me. These events and stuff. So, that's where I started.
I don't want to interrupt you, but so give us the timeline of when you got started. You kind of were ignorance on fire. I mean, to make $300 in your first month, I made like 26 in my first month. I was kind of along those lines of more like Genesis. And honestly, from what I've heard, most people only make like that much.
Yeah.
So how soon did you start getting yourself into doing events, and what did you know about them beforehand?
I knew nothing. You guys, seriously, I'm a full on red. I had no idea how to wait tables. So I started working at Coney Islands to learn how to, and then I made my way up. I just always knew that I wanted to make money and I know how to do it. I had my first distributor within, I think it was like 7 or 8 days, because literally, and I still call people to this day and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but this seems pretty legit and I'm going to make $1 million and I want you to come with me. I want you to do it with me. And they're like, okay. And I just didn't complicate this business at all. Like this girl, Laura, I hadn't talked to her in like 15 years and that was it. Like I just called her and I was like, Laura, she was a single mom. I'm like, I know you don't want to work this hard anymore. You miss your kid. I just started doing this thing and I have no idea what I'm doing. So we can do it together and we can get skinny and rich. And she was like, okay. And that was everybody. Like literally, I just was like, this is dope. Like do this with me. And it just kept going. And that's it. Like seriously. That's awesome. So, and I didn't understand the structure. I didn't understand the products. I just understood that I wanted to make 40 grand a month. That's it. So my first events that I signed up for, I just started Googling them. Mom to mom stuff. I've done mom to mom events. You guys, I did a bunko event in the basement of a church in Swartz Creek. No, not Swartz Creek. Where the heck was it? It was near Flint. But I mean, like, whatever. People automatically go towards like health and wellness events and bridal shows. Dude, those are expensive. I still don't do those. Like, if I'm going in on it with a lot of people, but I'm not throwing down $1,400 for an event. You can kiss my butt. I do $20, man, like free. I'm doing a free event on the 28th at my chiropractor's. They're doing a ladies' night. We just have to have a donation for raffle. Boom, done. Mm-hmm. I created a lot of events. I would do like local vendor events like in my house, and at my house at the time was 900 square feet, and I packed 5 people in there. And so if you can't find events, which trust me, you can find them, you can do your own for cheap, very cheap.
And
And
that's how I got started too, doing events. And my team knows that that's how kind of we grew our business. I wanted you to come in because they're sick of hearing from me and pushing it. And I wanted people to know that you as a single mom was, this is how you built your business. And I also want you to talk about like the fact that you started out with these little events. That's exactly how I started out, with those little events. They're 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50, I think is the most I spent. And you got a table. And did you bring product? Did you sell product? Did you mainly use your events for leads? How did you do that?
no, you know what? I save all of my empty bottles for my auto ships, and that's what I use for displays. One that I just did actually in Grand Rapids this past weekend, it was all empty bottles and an empty box with, like, I bought a towel, and I use that like to drape over it to create kind of like the different illusion or whatever. But I use my boxes for everything, you guys, like, because all of our stuff is marketing. So obviously I change up the whatever event I'm doing. So like at this fitness event that I did at the Deltaplex, there was going to be thousands of different supplement companies there. So I mainly focused on our wrap and our facial line and the keto coffee. I had some other things out, but really that's, so you just kind of make it different. But actually, that's how I met Tammy. Is nobody wanted to do events. And I posted in this one group, is anybody from Michigan who wants to do these events? I found a whiskey event. And then I was like, hey, do you want this whiskey event that's in Grand Rapids? You guys think outside of the box. I've done barbecue and brew. I've done a burlesque event. That was $20. The barbecue and brew one, I think, was 75 or something. But farmers markets usually put on some stuff, and they're $25. You can find really, really cheap ones. I do bring wraps to sell, and that's it. But I have done shows where I've had no wraps, and I still put the thing out where I'm like, hey, wraps are $25, and then somebody goes to buy one, and I'm like, I just sold my last one. But you know what? I'm starting a wait list for when I get them in, and for the inconvenience, I'm going to go ahead and I'll give you the wrap for $20 instead of the show price of $25. I'm really sorry about this. Just write your name and number down, and then, like, legit, this is all I have a notepad, and I'm like, just write your name and number down, and I'll call you as soon as they come in. Now, when they come in, I call them and I'm like, look, here's the deal. Like, I feel terrible about this. I actually want to hook you up for free. Get a couple of girls over. I'll wrap you for free, show everybody how it works. And if they get some, sweet. If not, whatever. I'll bring some samples. We can just hang out, chit chat, whatever. Boom.
That's awesome.
So out of you guys, literally, we don't need anything to run this business but our open mouth. Like, you could set up a table, you could have zero product, and all you do is print out some, you can print a sign that says bye-bye hot flashes, and then print out the Estro Rhythm thing, put those two in a picture frame, and you got people running over you like crazy. Like, we don't need anything. That is the coolest thing about this business, is we don't need anything. I have done shows where I've, sold energy drinks, but if you don't have them, like, whatever. But yeah, no, I really, all my stuff. And the greatest thing, you guys, when you go to shows, please connect with the vendors, because when that show is over at 3 and you are walking out the door with your empty containers and whatever, when you're walking out at 3:05, you're like, bye guys, have a great one. And they're still packing up their thousands of dollars of inventory that they have still yet to sell. They're like, but you're done? But what? Yeah. Oh yeah, bye. Have a good one.
Actually, that vendor event that we did in Florida was a really big one, but the people next to us were so intrigued by how little, like we came like 10 minutes beforehand, got our whole table set up, and we were broken down and gone well before everybody else was. But guess what? We got their contact information. We were talking to them all throughout. We gave them samples of the greens. And one of the girls is signing up for, as a loyal customer with a keto coffee and is actually interested in possibly becoming a distributor. I mean, that's the thing. Don't discount the vendors at these events either. Sometimes they make the best distributors.
Oh my, that's the only reason why I do events, to be honest. Like seriously, it's for the vendors. And connect with them, get their information, you know, chit chat about how the show was for them. If they thought it was a drag, like, you know, you can just be like, oh man, I thought it was great, you know, whatever. But the vendors is where it's at. You know, sometimes I make little vendor bags when, you know, I'll put my business card, I put like a coupon in there, I'll put a sample session sheet, I'll put a gratitude stone, like anything that makes you stand out. And every single show that I've done, everyone is so grateful for that. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no, this is for you. And they're like, well, we know what It Works is. And I'm like, okay, but this is still for you. It's just a present.
That's awesome.
You know, and everyone's really impressed that. The one thing that I have to stress to you guys, like I just did that show in Grand Rapids, which by the way, I think 2 people have heard of It Works. So, and we blitzed the server when we went out to dinner, and she had never heard of It Works either. So,
and that is right in 3 of us on this Zoom alone live in this area.
Well, in the Deltaplex, you guys, we've had events there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And the thing is like some people feel that this business is saturated, and we have a lot of people that are from the East Coast as well on our team. Yeah. And I think a few of them, a few of you guys are on here too. And it's like, okay, you guys, this is where the company started. And Erin came from the Detroit area to do that vendor event, which we dropped the ball, us Grand Rapids girls, apparently. But no, it's just like there's opportunity all around.
Everywhere.
Like, that just shows you right there that she came from the Detroit area to do this vendor event in the backyard of where the company was founded, and people did not know about it. So again, if your mouth is closed, your business is closed. If you're not talking about it and not asking people, they won't know about it.
Nope.
So at the vendor events, what do you do to get leads? Do you work on leads? Do you focus on leads? What has built your business in terms of vendor events and expos and things like that?
The leads, and for sure. And the vendors, like seriously. I've had so many people sign up as distributors, and that were with other companies too. And they're like, you're actually pretty cool. And I'm like, well, thank you. And that's it, you know? But when I'm there, every single person who fills out, there's a lot of people who did like, ooh, sign up for our free rep raffle. And we're like, well, what do I win? And you're like, well, if your name is selected, no, I don't do that. Like, you are signing my thing. Here is so what I do is I say, you know, we're doing, I do set up one-on-one appointments with people for sample sessions. So you just put your name and number down and I'll call you to schedule that. Boom. That's a one-on-one. I have a wheel sometimes that I use so they can spin to win, and they can win, you know, samples or, you know, wow demonstration or wow, whatever. If someone wants to set up a VIP sample session, they can actually try a wrap for free. And that's opening that sample session for up to 10 of their friends. Like literally every person who signs that paper or writes their name and number down or whatever, they're going to get a call from me because a transaction is taking place in some way, shape, or form. I did that whole like, oh, sign here and you could win, blah, 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 blah. And then you keep their lead information forever. And then you're like, oh God, what do I do? Like everyone's a winner. I don't want to give everybody a free wrap or what. So it's like when you're up front with them, you know, and let them know that this is what you're doing. This is your business. So this is legit. And I changed it to calling it sample sessions because it really opened up men into being down for trying everything. They still ultimately want to try that wrap, but they were afraid to approach the table or whatever because we were calling it wrap parties. And, you know, dudes don't have parties unless there's kegs, right? Like, they're just manly. So I really opened up that demographic by calling it sample sessions. And a lot of them are down for that. So that was just a huge game changer for me. And the follow-up after the fact, like this actually, that show that I did in Grand Rapids, we didn't get one lead. It really wasn't set up for vendors. It's, you know, plus they had a huge part of their show drop out the night before. So what we did, and you guys always ask this for any show that you're doing, if you are going to do a bridal show, and you can actually just call people and ask if you can get inside their bags, because they'll do a lot of, like, they did competitors for this fitness show, and we were able to get in the bags and we gave samples and everything. So now what I'm doing and what you guys can do, even on events, if you've totally just kind of, you know, screwed the pooch on this thing, you guys can go back to these events that you were in, because most of the time they'll create a Facebook event, and that's when you can go and connect with people. So now, like, no, it was great. We got inside the vendor or the competitors' bags. Like, great. That was awesome. But now I'm going to go and connect with all the competitors. And so I'm friend requesting all of them. And I'm sending them messages. Hey, you know, you did an amazing job. You know, obviously compliment them, establish, you know, the relationship. And, you know, my partner that I was working with, she actually used to do these shows. She's a former competitor. And she even said, and I've asked everybody this, like, when you get those little goodies in the bag, how many of those companies connect with you to follow up to see how you like the product? And she's like, well, none of them. And I'm like, how many times did you order from those companies in those bags? And she's like, well, never. That's our difference. I know you guys hear it all the time. Fortune is in the follow-up, and that is exactly where the money's at. You have to take the time and reach out. So now I'm reaching out to them and I'm like, hey, you did an amazing job. I could feel the grit in the air, man. Like, that was killer. You were awesome. Congratulations on all of your accomplishments. I don't know if you've had a chance, but we were in your competitor's bag. I had an It Works table set up, and my partner, who is a former competitor, always said that none of the, you know, companies followed up. So we like to make sure that we're following up with our people. How did you like the greens? I don't know if you've checked out our, you know, website yet, but we just had this keto coffee. I would really be interested in you trying some of the products, and I would love to have your feedback, being in the industry. And that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I am 100% in agreement that the fortune is in the follow-up. And a lot of times at vendor events, when we first started doing them too, it was like, well, how many boxes of wraps do I bring in? I'm going to be selling everything at retail and making all this money right off the bat. And vendor events aren't necessarily for that. Vendor events are more for connecting with people and establishing relationships and the follow-up afterwards. So if you have like all these leads from your vendor event, or you have all these connections from people who have been there, but you go home like those other companies and you do nothing about it, you just might as well have thrown away the money you invested to do that event, because you're going to get nowhere with it. So when you say, I know a little bit more of your story than most of these people on the Zoom do, but can you talk about like just this time of the year, how important it is to do events this time of the year, and maybe your timeline of promoting, because that is huge. And when I saw a little bit of your story, and when I heard that you promoted to double and triple diamond during the fall and winter months, right? I mean, that's just huge, because a lot of people now, like, they think that this is a slow time of the year.
You know what?
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
There is no such thing as a slow time of the year. If you guys have that in your brain, that means you're not working. You guys, I'm hustling during the summer, and I am for sure hustling during the winter. There are so many events right now, like so many. I mean, there's so many in the summer too, but summer's where you connect with people, like being outside. I think most of us are from Michigan, so we know how awful it is in the winter. So summer is where you hook up with people outside. You're like, dude, this is awesome. Like, and that's where the connecting happens. But this time of year, oh my God, there's so many vendor events. There are so many. And there are people who want to have parties. I promise you there are, especially you guys rename it to New Year, New You sample session. And they'll be like, hey, yeah, let's figure this out. Who's going to set some resolutions? But I promoted to Diamond. I promoted to Diamond actually so there's Black Friday and then there's Small Business Saturday, and I held a event at my house actually, and I called it Big Business Sunday, and I celebrated Big Business Sunday with a fat $10,000 promotion to Diamond and a bonus. So you guys can do it, like, for sure. And that was just nuts. And then I promoted to Double Diamond on New Year's Eve day. So that ball dropping was pretty cool.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
$15,000 bonus. And then after conference is when he doubled everything. And then I got the triple in March, and I got the double good bonus. Which, I mean, at this point, I just kind of lost track of how much money I've been making. So
you kind of did. You had a similar timeline as me too, because I got the diamond bonus, the double diamond bonus, and the $50,000 triple bonus as well. Yeah. But the fact that you promoted 2 of your 3 major promotions into those leadership levels were when most people feel is a slow time of the year. So the fact that but you have solely focused on events and expos to build your business. So who would you
seriously? That was who? What?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, who would you like? When you have built, when you're talking, not only is getting to double and triple about distributors, but it's about the volume as well. So totally. You're talking about getting volume. Has that been party based? What has been the bulk of you getting to double and triple diamond and even diamond? What was the base of your volume and your distributors? How did you get your distributors, signed up? Was it after the events? Was it following up with them? Was it doing parties?
It was more because, doing parties, I had very limited time still to do parties. So I did a lot of online parties, which I know is not like suggested, but online parties, you guys, that's just one big blitz. I did 5 online parties in one night. I was raking in people. So it was like I created more of a network that was watching me post on social media. So, but I didn't do everything mainly on social media because here's the thing, you guys, when I first started, I didn't have a computer. I didn't even have cable. I mean, it was crazy. So it's like, I use my phone. When people are like, oh, you can't just do this from your phone, you're goddamn wrong, because you sure can. There you go. You can do it from your phone. I'm telling you, you can. I did 2 online parties and a full highlight in my kitchen one night. That's hustler. So it was the networking. It was those parties. And, a lot of times I would call. So I'd do an event and I would call people and I'm like, dude, I got 500 leads sitting right here. You ready to jump on board? Because we can rock this out together, or I can keep it all myself. So it was like just a combination of both. And a lot of people that I was reaching out to, I was showing my journey on social media. And, because the people at home can see what I'm doing, but my team in Arizona, they couldn't see what I was doing. They had to watch me on social media. My team in Alaska, they couldn't, they just needed to know and they could see that I was serious about this. And that's what a lot of people need to see. They need to see that you're serious. You're asking someone to join your team. you're asking someone to buy products from you that are going to make them healthier. This isn't nail stickers, you guys. This is like legit. No offense against nail stickers. I think they're gorgeous for some people, just not my cup of tea. So, this is fun and it's legit, So you have to make people take you seriously, for sure. I mean, I did. I signed my girl in Alaska on New Year's Eve day. And that was from her watching my journey. And she was actually a loyal customer first. So she switched over New Year's Eve day. And that's really, did I answer that right? Do you want more?
I was just I know that so far I don't see any questions, and if anybody is asking questions, make sure I raise your hand or something. But I know that what I get a lot of questions about is, what to do with the leads, how to follow up with the leads, how do you sign distributors and loyal customers from your events? Like, I think people are kind of looking for a magic script or something in particular that everybody does to sign customers and distributors.
My
what is your take on that?
My thing takes a little extra time, you guys, because there is no magic script. I will take some scripts, and I'll tweak them to be like my own. But at these events, on the leads, I'm writing down, son has glasses, their names, blah, blah, blah. I look everybody up on Facebook. You can look up people on Facebook by their name, by their phone number, and by their email address. You can search for their name and the search on Facebook now comes up with I found somebody from a picture that they were tagged in from 2014. So there are so many ways. Under ask the coordinator for the list of those who got a bag. I've never thought of it. You know what? If you do bridal shows and stuff, they'll give you a list. In this event, I can tell because he is focusing on the competitors who were in it. This one's pretty obvious because they're all real dark and real muscular, so they kind of stand out. And yeah, but with my leads, I look them up on Facebook. I make little notes, if you're going to, hey, why don't you give a try these greens, so they're tasting, hated the orange greens, like the chocolate greens, you make these little notes. That way, when you're reaching out to them, I had a girl in Cadillac, and I looked her up on Facebook and I friend requested her and I was like, hey, just catching up, whatever. And she did sign up as a loyal because, her son liked the green shoes and, I'm like, flu season's coming. Might as well get these going, rock them out. And, it went from there. Then as I got to know her, she has physical therapy office all across Northern Michigan. And I was like, you know what? This would really be an awesome complement to what you're already doing and being able to offer your clients like the relief to go along with their, their stuff and blah, blah, blah. And that's when the transfer happens. But a lot of times it shows, it really depends on the person. If I see somebody and I'm like, because there's a lot of times where I skip over the establishing the relationship thing and I just go straight to getting on the team. Like, I don't know if you know what I do, but I'm a health and wellness coach. You should give this a shot. You'd be really great at this. I would love to talk to you about getting on the team. So sometimes you just have to have, a feeling about it. But I do. I look them up on Facebook or Instagram. You can look them up on Instagram too. I do work heavily on Facebook because that's my jam, but I do post on Instagram because there are people that I connect with on Instagram that aren't on Facebook. So it's good to have those options just to, but don't go crazy with like, oh my God, I got to keep up with all these social media things. And so yeah, just to be present in that. but I message all of them. Hey, I know we were talking about getting on the greens. I'm doing a special right now for all of my people at the show. I'm giving you 40% off with an option to get 10% back in product credit. Doing it at the end of I mean, it's the way you put it. It's the rollback theory. You go to Walmart and you're like, well, damn, that used to be $100 and now it's $37.92. I love that, when in reality it was always $37.92, but you're totally going to get it now. So if you do present that, and I'm not doing anything special, that's exactly what we have 40% off with an option to get 10% back in product credit.
That's, yeah, I love that way of doing it.
So,
how
people hear about the deals.
Yes, exactly. Now, how soon after the event do you follow up with your leads? And
that night. Mm-hmm. It was so great to meet you. Your son George was adorable. Thanks for stopping by the table. You guys, if you do get email addresses and stuff like that, there are some little pads that you can get. I think it's like on some website, like slips.com or something. You can Google it, but it does have, a space for their name, their address, whatever. If you guys want to send out thank you notes for stopping by your table, do it. Any way you can to connect. It doesn't always have to be like, you could just really reach out and say, thanks for stopping by my table. I love doing these things. I love connecting with people. Thanks for, stopping by. It was awesome to connect with you. And then, go from there. If you have their phone number, you guys call, please pick up the phone. That's a dying art. You just pick up the phone and say, hey, hi, talk to them.
So you do a lot of phone calls versus texting or emailing your leads.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I will call them. I will leave a message. I'll wait a day. I'll text them. I'll wait a day. I'll Facebook them. I'll wait a day. I'll email them, because seriously, like, I think I've already done it, and it's only Tuesday, but I've done it 5 times already this week where I'm like, God, I meant to message you, and I think I did in my head, but we're still busy. We've got kids. We're, all crazy. And here's another thing that you guys, I do this a lot. I blame things on my son so much. So I just started friend requesting people, and people are like, do I know you? And I'm like, oh my God, my son had my phone again, and he was just going crazy with that friend request button. I guess I'm making a lot of friends tonight. And they're like, oh my God, it's so funny.
That's awesome. I never even thought of that, but that's perfect for those of us who have little kids who play with our phones. And that's a great one, because I usually say oh, you were suggested to me through the friends you may know thing of Facebook, and I just thought we had a few mutual friends, but you're friend requesting people who have 0 mutual friends. That's perfect. I love it.
Which you want to do that, because if I have a mutual friend with Tammy, I'm not gonna, she's already claimed them, so we're not going there. We want people we have 0 mutual friends with.
Yeah. Now I like that.
When you that call to follow up after the event, I just simply say hey, if they filled out that slip to do the sample session, hey, Bob, it was really awesome, talking with you. I've got 2 dates available. I really want to hook up for the sample session. I can meet you at Big B on Thursday at 12 or Friday at 6 o'clock. No, they can't make that. All right, well, no worries. Let's, take a look at your schedule, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go ahead and send you a friend request. If I haven't done it, you just but you're a business owner. That person gave you their information for a reason. If you never call and you don't follow up, that's your fault. But homeboy gave you his information for a reason. There's a reason that you have that contact info. You got to reach out. And it's so much easier when you're just direct instead of going, oh, you may win my monthly whatever. And then you got to sit there and be like, oh God, has it been a month yet? What do I do now? What do I do after the month? Like, they haven't called me back. Oh my God, do I save them forever? Like, no. And then if they don't, you keep their lead and be like, hey, Bob, I'm like, it's Erin from It Works. Met you last month at the event. I'm hooking up more of the sample. And here's the thing, if they're not confirming or whatever, or do one of your own and invite them to it. Because maybe their life is just crazy. You guys, when I first started this, my enroller was like, get a couple girls together, or before I started this, get a couple girls together and we'll have a, rap party. And I'm like, listen, sister, if I got an hour to myself, I'm locking myself in the bathroom and that's it. Or I'm spending time with my family. People are busy. If she would have created an event that I could have gone to, that might have been a whole different story. And we might have been here a whole year sooner. But I waited a year to join. So she worked on me for a year. So just keep that in mind. A whole year.
Yeah. So do you want a triple diamond on your team if you have to follow up with them for a year? I've done that myself. I've had many people join me a year after my initial contact. And I think, Cooper, and I honestly think that that's where a lot of people get stuck, is that they don't want to continue following up with somebody. They don't want to continue reaching out to them because they either feel like they're bugging them or whatever. But do you do the same thing as, like, you will continuously follow up with your leads from your events until they specifically say, stop, take me off your list, do not message me anymore? Then I honor that, you know, but until they say something along those lines, I am continuously reaching out to them because, like you said, we're busy. Like, it might not be the right time right that moment, but maybe 3-4 months down the road, it'll be the right time.
And there's a lot of people that I'm like, I'm just following up with you because you were interested in the products. And here's the thing, if they don't block you, like if they don't tell you no thank you or whatever, you're just in, you're in your relationship phase. You're in the ignoring phase, and that's fine. It'll go away soon because they'll come around. But you have to get out of your head that I'm bugging them. These people gave you their information. You didn't, pepper spray them to write down their info. You didn't do some Chinese water torture. Like you didn't hold them inside your booth. Like, they were like, sweet, cool, sounds good. I want to try this stuff. And that's it. You guys, if you have to like sweeten the deal a little bit, like, God, I don't know. I've got a free gift for everybody who's going to sign for, I don't know, sample sessions and brings friends. Well, that's your wrap. However you want to like word it to make it sound even cooler, then there you go. Or it's just a greens on the go. Like, it doesn't even have to be the wrap. So keep it simple, but and I don't care what you look like, how old you are. Those people gave you their information for a reason, and you need to do your follow-up. And yeah, but the events is definitely where it's at, because, I would, and I do the event when I can get someone to stay with my son. And then the times that he's here, I'll pop a movie on or whatever for an hour, and I can follow up with those leads.
Yeah.
And then I can book things and whatever, but you have to own it. And shoot, I remember I messaged probably, 300 people one day, and 3 people signed up. Those are the odds sometimes. But, Sarah Rankin said one time that the work you do right now is going to pay off in 6 months.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
Even if you don't have one time, it was St. Patrick's Day. I had someone able to watch Cash for a couple hours during the day. And I mean, I looked on social media, and where is everybody on St. Patrick's Day? They're at the bar, right? There's an event, you guys, and those people are already happy. So I put on as much green as I could. I got my hat and everything, and I went to the bar and I bought dollar shots for like 6 people, and I got lip and eye cream on all of them, and I got a burger, and that was all a tax write-off. I blitzed like 18 people at the bar, and I went home, and I was good.
That's awesome.
That's your vendor event. The whole world is your vendor event. I put vendor bags together for a marathon in Grand Rapids right after one of the things that we had at Jackson College. And because I couldn't get a table at this thing, and there wasn't an It Works person at this event. And I went up to all the runners and blitzed and gave them these bags, and like all the spectators and everything. And I gave them these bags until they were gone, and not one person had heard of It Works. I do a lot of stuff in Grand Rapids, apparently.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Hey, I mean, we just flew to Florida. We need to be just sticking around Grand Rapids area. It's like we have a wide open market. I mean, it really is. Everywhere is a wide open market.
It's so crazy. I was we had a Zoom last night with Joel, and you know, as far as numbers, we have about 250,000 distributors, you know, give or take, worldwide. And for us to even come close to being a household name, we need to have 1 million distributors. 1 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, you guys want 1 million people on your team? Because I do.
Well, and think about it. This company has been around for 17 years, and we're at 250,000.
Dude.
So we have a lot more room for growth and a lot more time before we're going to hit 1 million distributors.
And yes, people have heard of this company before. People have had bad experiences with distributors before, just like people have gotten bad haircuts before. But people don't stop getting haircuts. I mean, maybe some do, but that's really weird. So you need to prove them wrong. Just like when I was cutting people's hair and they had bad haircuts, I had to prove them wrong that not every hairstylist is terrible. Mm-hmm. Not every It Works distributor is terrible. Yeah. It's just they had a bad experience. So we just need to prove them wrong. And I tell you, I had a Pure Romance woman who is the head PTO lady at my son's school. And she had some crazy experience with an It Works distributor. And she like hated me for a year. And now we're BFFs. And she just became my loyal customer because I proved her wrong.
That's awesome.
So you just have to do it.
Yes, doing it, like showing that you're working out there, working, being consistent, and putting in that action. So actually getting out there and booking those events, actually getting out there and following up with people, talking to people, and not just stopping in your tracks and not doing anything. So I think that you're also proving that that's what it takes to get to a level of triple diamond and above in this company. So anybody have any questions? I don't want to keep this too much longer, Erin. I know you only have so much time without cash at home and you have things to do. And
oh, well,
I've got someone peeking over my shoulder.
I know, right? Hey, buddy.
But does anyone else have any questions?
You guys want to see like examples of the most important thing, you guys, I have to tell you, just do it. Just go out there and do it and make terrible mistakes. You guys should see my first table for one of my shows. I covered every square inch of that table with a picture frame. You could play dominoes with it. It was like the whole catalog was in picture frames all over the place. I had books. I had photographs. I had I mean, it was awful. It was a nightmare.
Well, Erin, you're kind of a green personality too, aren't you? So
I'm learning.
Yes, you're good. I mean, you're red and you're green, but you're thorough as well. So that's like,
yeah, sometimes you're a little too thorough, but just make the mistakes, but know that like save all of your, stuff from your auto ship because that is marketing. Save everything. You can even do baskets. If you can't get into the vendor show, you can create a basket I do a lot of that. And I network with the people at the show because of the basket. Like I will post in the event on Facebook, like, I'm so excited. Thank you for this opportunity and allowing me to donate for your event. And all of our stuff is priced out as retail. So like I just recently did a show, and I think I had a wrap in there, and I had some thermofit and a couple of like greens on the go, just like little trinkets. And I mean, retail, the thermofit is $65. Obviously one wrap is 25. We're looking at $100 basket. So that's a tax write-off. It's all of that stuff, and that stuff that you can do and donate. And again, the follow-up with everybody in there. I always give thank you notes to the vendors or the organizers for allowing me to be a part of their event. Same thing if I'm donating baskets and stuff. I just create that. And if somebody, one thing, Facebook is not that Facebook Messenger when you're like, well, somebody's reading my messages and they're not responding, they're ignoring me. That I think is Facebook's funny little joke. That's not accurate at all, especially if you have children who are using your phone. So if you have sent someone a message on Facebook Messenger and it says that they've read it, they probably haven't. Go on their timeline and say, hey, check your messenger. I just sent you a message. And then just keep doing that. Because I've sent out messages and they were like, oh my God, I didn't even see this. I'm so sorry. And it says, and right there it says, according to Facebook, they've read the message. It's not accurate, you guys. Don't just be a one and doneer. Yeah, we've all opened it up and just ignored everything or whatever. So, their messenger open or their Facebook open on their computer, Facebook will automatically recognize it being read, and it'll come up red on their phone when they've actually never seen it.
Yeah. That does happen all the time.
It's crazy. I've had someone say, hey, I just got your message. And according to Facebook, they've never seen it. So just,
well, the algorithms are always changing. We just talked about that. The algorithms just changed again recently. So it's all a learning curve for us. And the thing is it's the communication. It just needs to continue to happen. And you need to continue to press forward and, message people. And if they don't respond, wait a little bit longer, message them later. But always continue to get that new blood in front of you, and that's by doing more vendor events or getting out and blitzing people, talking to people. Like you said, the world is your vendor event, so just talk to everybody and you will grow your business. It's inevitable. It will happen over time.
And don't go crazy with buying stuff. I just bought my first It Works tablecloth 2 weeks ago. I did vendor shows without banners, without anything. You don't have to. You don't have to do stuff. You can wear your lanyard. I wore my lanyard. I didn't buy any gear until I was an Emerald. And it was a hat that was way too big, but I still rocked it out because I hate returning things. So it's just
awesome. Yeah, all you need is the excitement, you need your passion, and you need your mouth open, and you can grow this business.
But definitely it's, I have writer's block all the time. So I reach out to people and I'm like, all right, help me. Here's where I want to go with this, blah, blah, blah. Don't ever think that you need to have all the answers. You can put stuff together and collaborate.
Mm-hmm. That's all.
Messages and stuff.
Well, thank you so much, Erin, for jumping on and doing this for our team. And I truly appreciate your insight and your passion and your excitement. And I love you as a friend and a sideline sister. And I just am glad that I got a chance to get to know you a little bit better. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share this on my team page. You might get a few follows from our team throughout the time so they can kind of watch you and watch how you grow your business on social media along with doing your vendor events as well. So thank you so much for doing this.
Awesome. I hope it was helpful. If you guys do have any questions, just reach out to me. I can either point you in the right direction. I can teach you how to fish. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Thanks for jumping on. We will talk to you later.
Bye.